Hello everyone, it's Saturday morning. This is a fairly early video blog that I'm doing. It's actually around 9 o'clock in the morning. Thought I'd get an early start. Looking like another lovely day here. We had quite a bit of rain last night, which is interesting because we are moving into what is traditionally the rainy period over summer. However, it hasn't always worked out that way. Weather being the way it is, it varies quite a bit. So there's been some dry years where we'd normally get the big dump of wet weather, but we've certainly had a lot of rain over the last year or two. We've had floods and what have you, and so although the lawns are looking rather dry here, so yeah. I also found out that I'm not much of a savant when it comes to actually hanging curtains. I actually bought some new curtains. I've been putting this off for ages, and I went down to Spotlight in just near Kazali Stadium up here in Cairns, and bought myself a couple of pleated curtains that I hung myself. I discovered there's a little connector between the hooks that you buy there and the actual rail itself, and it's called a glider. So it's a little piece of plastic that slots into a tiny slot in the metal strut, and and you hang the actual hooks from that particular device. So and I've run out of them. I only got about 10 each, so there's a bit too much strain on the curtain. So I'm definitely doing an amateur job here, and I definitely need to get more of these gliders. Going to see if I can get it at the reject shop or somewhere else, but I've got a horrible feeling I'll probably end up in Bunnings because they're about the only place that supplies them up this way. Anyway, not a big hassle, but I'm pretty hopeless at home maintenance. It's not my comfort zone, that's for sure. Look, I've actually got one of those traditional stories for you today. Oh, before I do that, actually, Tucker Carlson had a bit of an altercation with Giuliani's legal team, who are trying to nail the election, the US presidential election, for fraud. He said he didn't receive a document, an affidavit that they'd sent through, and they're claiming they did send it through. Now, this could be a case that that Tucker Carlson is actually going down the track of everybody else at Fox News, and they're basically on a suicide mission to alienate any right-leaning voters from their channel. I've got a horrible feeling that maybe the glory days for Tucker may be over, which will be very sad, and also sad to see that he can be compromised by the almighty dollar. If that is the case, it's a very sad indictment on the media. Anyone can be basically bought off by the looks of things. If that is the case, yeah, I'm very despondent about that. Anyway, look, I've got an article here, and it's on a totally non-political topic. It's actually about about immortality, the fountain of youth. So I'll get straight into it. It's also from Daily Mail, who I've also got my doubts about in certain ways, but I'll get on to that later. Scientists successfully reverse human aging process. Oxygen treatment altered elderly people's bodies at a cellular level to how they were 25 years earlier, researchers claim. Breathing pure oxygen may help to reverse the aging process. Scientists claim researchers used oxygen therapy to reverse two key indicators of aging. Scientists placed 35 healthy adults aged 64 and older into pressurized chamber sessions lasting 90 minutes and took place for 5 days a week for 3 months. Scientists claim they have successfully reversed the human aging process in a group of early adults in breakthrough study. Oxygen treatment altered the elderly's people's bodies at a cellular level to how they were 25 years earlier. In a unique study, scientists used oxygen therapy to reverse two key indicators of biological aging: telomere shortening and an accumulation of malfunctioning subsent cells. Sorry if I got that mangled. That I'm not a biologist, so bear with me. As humans age, their bodies experience the shortening of telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes, which leads to illness including cancer, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. Senescent cells, or so-called zombie cells, prevent regeneration as they build up in the body over time. The study used a method called hyperbaric oxygen therapy in an effort to prevent the deterioration of these two characteristics of the aging process. In the study, published in the journal Aging, 35 healthy adults aged 64 and older were placed in a pressurised oxygen chamber in Israel and breathed in pure oxygen through a mask. The sessions lasted for 90 minutes each and took place in 5 days for 3 months. The pressurised chamber mimics a state of hypoxia or oxygen shortage, enabling tissues to dissolve more oxygen, which has well-known regenerative effects. Results show the trial enabled telomeres to regrow by more than 20%, while their senescent cells had been reduced by up to 37%. This is the equivalent to how the bodies were at a cellular level 25 years earlier, the scientists said. Since telomere shortening is considered the holy grail of biology of aging, many pharmaceutical and environmental interventions are being extensively explored in the hopes of enabling telomere elongation, said Professor Shay Efrati, professor of the Faculty of Medicine in Tel Aviv University, the co-author of the study. The significant improvement of telomere length shown during and after these unique protocols provides the scientific community with a new foundation of understanding that aging can indeed be targeted and reversed at the basic cellular biological level, Efrati added. The study is the latest in a series of trials which are trying to understand the anti-aging process and increase life expectancy while making people feel younger. The premise is that aging can be cured like a disease, scientists claim. In 2015, Blovitiva chief executive Liz Parrish flew to Colombia to receive 2 experimental gene therapies she claimed could make permanent changes to her DNA in order to combat muscle loss and grow her telomeres. Parrish received criticism for undergoing the experimental treatment by scientists, but she claims the gene therapy reversed the biological age of her immune cells by 20 years. She recently claimed that death is optional. Well, that's a big claim. Previous studies have revealed that healthy eating and intense exercise can also preserve telomere length, but this experiment was unique because it exceeded natural interventions, the researchers said. Until now, interventions such as lifestyle modifications and intense exercise were shown to have some inhibition effect on the expected telomere length shortening, said study researcher Dr. Amy Hadani of Tel Aviv's Segal Center for Hyperbaric Medicine and Research. However, what is remarkable to note in our study is that in just 3 months of therapy, we were able to achieve such significant telomere elongation at rates far beyond any current available intervention or lifestyle modifications. Yeah, it does actually sound quite promising, but of course, when you're looking at science, we've got to say, well, how long are these effects going to stay with the particular participants? Are they going to retain these benefits, or are they going to dissipate over time? And are you required to continue on with this particular therapy for the rest of your life to basically elongate your life? These are standard questions. The other question, of course, is what are the side effects of such a treatment? They may have negative side effects which may counterbalance the benefits that are being accrued. All these things need to be answered, and these are very early stages of this particular treatment. But it does look promising, and it's something that could be set up in any Western country for most people to undertake. It's not particularly okay. It's 5 days a week. It does require some level of commitment, so you've got to go for 90 minutes 5 days a week for 3 months. That is a bit of a commitment, but if it's not an unpleasant experience and you can do things like read or listen to music or whatever while you're undergoing the treatment, I can think of worse things to get in medical practices than that type of treatment. So I guess that is interesting, but there are also social aspects to this that need to be taken into account. if this does indeed, say, increase the life expectancy to, say, 150, 200 years or more, what are we going to do with the population? Because if that's the case, we're going to have a population explosion. Sure, people will still die of disease and accidents, but this is going to be a minor part of the equation compared to the increase in population that will occur. I love my space technology, and I'm thinking about, I think that habitations in space will be the answer eventually, but how long it will take for that to take place, well, it's going to be at least decades. So in the meantime, the Earth's going to keep filling up. And so that is an issue. Although in most Western countries like Japan and Germany, for instance, they have a net loss of population currently. So there is, it does balance out a little bit there. But I think overall, if this does come through, it will lead to population increase, and we'll need to find a solution. And living off-world may well be that solution. So hopefully the technologies will come into place at the time when they're needed. That's how I see it anyway. But the idea of living forever is not palatable to a lot of people too. People don't really want it. It's almost a relief to be out. Mind you, if your health is bad, of course you're more inclined to wanting to opt out of living. Obviously, you're suffering and it's good no quality of life. I can understand that totally. But if you're healthy, if my health would say improve to the extent of taking 20 years off my life, if I was as healthy as I was then 20 years ago, it's certainly going to improve my quality of life, and I'm going to have a better outlook on life. So, there's so many factors to put in when to calculate what the net benefit is. But look, it is good to see that there's been a lot of research into aging. One of the other things was actually fasting. Apparently fasting can also increase the life expectancy. They've done that with rats and mice and what have you, and definitely the ones that have been on starvation type diets have done very well. But again, what sort of quality of life is that, to be on a starvation diet and lengthen your life? If you love your food, which most people do, it's a negative for your quality of life. So again, it's not as simple as you might think. There's a lot of factors to take into account, but I think it's interesting that they're doing that. They've got some pretty good technology in Israel. They're actually doing a lot of research in drones and what have you as well. They've certainly put in the likes of Australia to shame when it comes to science and technology. We could do a lot better, in my opinion, but when a small country like Israel can develop such good high technology, it's quite inspiring. Hopefully we can pull our fingers out. We do have pretty good medical research here, but that type of breakthrough is going to change humanity. It's a huge one. So that's good news. Fingers crossed that it does come to fruition, and old bastards like me can get a few more active years, because the participants were 64 years of age and older. I'm 65, so I'm right in the firing line when it comes to this sort of thing. And if I could get at a cellular level back to 20 years younger, yeah, why not? As long as there's no nasty side effects. Anyway, I've raved enough. As per usual, if you could please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Lots of comments would be nice. They've dropped off a bit, so hopefully I can resurrect this channel a bit. And also please consider subscribing. By the way, the Bitchute views really does almost matching what I'm getting on YouTube on all the videos, and I've only got about 29 subscribers over there. So it would indicate that maybe there is some sort of a throttling taking place on YouTube. And actually, funnily enough, Sticks and Hammer, who basically said that he thought he was doing better than ever, now is detecting that he's being throttled again. So you just can't trust them. That's the trouble. So again, I think Bitchute might be the safe haven for the future. We'll just see how it all goes. But anyway, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. I might even go out and get myself a Guinness today. It's well overdue, and yeah, it was. Hopefully the weather's nice where you are, and things go well for you. Enjoy the time off if you're working. Okay, I'll get back to you as soon as I have the energy to do another video.